it's not going to work. Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my workshop. Welcome to episode 7 of my participation in the Jurgen Zoller challenge. And in this episode, I want to get the front on the guitar. I've also got to stick the back on as well, of course. But I've got a problem. It's not really a problem, it's more like an opportunity, to be perfectly honest with you. Now then, in the last episode, I'll just move those little bits of wood out there, I fitted the back. It's not glued in, it's just slotted into place at the moment, and off camera I've just started sticking in the linings, and that's what I've got to do first really today. But what's the problem then? The problem is the top. Now look, I've got mahogany, I've got ash, and I think I've got a sycamore on the edge there, which is a similar colour to the ash. This is a completely different colour, and I just think that if I introduce this wood along with all of this wood, it's going to look a bit of a dog's dinner, if I'm honest with you. My intention is to cover the whole of the top with a piece of wood. So I've had a think about this, and I've got a solution which I'm sort of happy with. So over the last couple of days I've glued myself up another top. I haven't taken the paper off yet, but this is my proposed new top. So why do I think this is better? Well, first of all, I've got the mahogany, which will contrast nicely with the sides, and I've got a strip of ash which will sort of reflect what's on the back. Now then, on the back of the guitar we've got this lovely curve, and on the front we're going to have this straight line. Now I'm using what I've got, and this was another one of these door step that I made, door threshold, that's the word I'm looking for, that I made ages ago, but it's made out of the same ash that the back is there, and I just think actually that might look quite nice. Nice strip going up the centre there, and of course it will contrast really nicely with the fretboard which he runs to get. Ooh. So we've got the fretboard contrasting with the ash rather than sort of burying itself with the mahogany, so I think that's going to look nice. I'm going to give it a go anyway and see what it looks like, but I think it's going to look a lot better than me introducing yet another piece of wood, even though this is a rather beautiful piece of wood, and that's definitely going to be used on a guitar. Okay, first things first, I'll need to get the linings stuck in here, and they sit on top of the veneers that I put in last week. I've got a piece there which I've done a little bit of work in. Unfortunately I was a bit short on this end, so I've had to create a little piece just to go in there, which is okay. I've got a piece that's going to go up at the front there, which is looking all right, and this is another bit that I bent which needs to be cut to size and glued in, and I think I'm probably going to glue this in next, to be honest with you. It's yeah, I'll get that done. I think I've marked it up and I just need to cut it to size, so we'll get that done. I've got this little section here where the two bits sort of cross over, so I think I'll just shape this piece here to fit in there. Okay, I've just shaped that on the sander. I think that's going to be alright. Just stick that all into there. I'm going to have to really clamp that in to get it to bend there, but I think it's going to be alright. I think I'm going to be able to use these violin style clamps for most of this. We'll see. Okay, so now I just need to sit this on top of the veneers. It needs to be clamped first, I think. I'm going to stick a piece of scrap in the top. I might just stick a bigger piece in. That's looking pretty good there. This is going to need to be pulled in quite a lot. Well, that's that side glued up. What I'll do now is just take the opportunity to glue this in here. If I can get it out. And this little piece in there. For that, I think I just need to hold it here. Should do that. Tried to think ahead with this build, and I've just left a gap here for where the jack socket's going to go, and I've drilled a small hole in the centre there, so I know where the position of that is going to be. Now, while I'm waiting for that to cure, I'll just talk about this. I used the fireplace wood that I've got, slab like this, and cut it down into actually 3 sort of slices. It actually took about half an hour to do that, but the blade went through pretty well, so that was okay. I then ran it through the thicknesser along with this centerpiece, and I've got it to about 7mm thick, and I'm going to keep it at that because when I put it on the guitar I want to sort of shape the sides a little bit, just give it a little bit of curve, and I think that's going to be okay, and I think it's going to add some weight to the body of the guitar as well. So I've just sanded this down so it's nice on both sides, so that can go to one side. I'll leave it for a few days just to make sure it's not going to bend in any strange ways or pull apart. It looks pretty good, and then I think we should be ready to fit both the back and the top. Right, I think I'm going to have a go at getting a neck blank sorted out. Now I've got this piece of wood, piece of mahogany, but it's got a bow in it. I don't know if you can see that, I can move it up and down there. So what I've done, I've glued it with a bit of masking tape and super glue to this piece of wood, which I know is very flat. I'm now going to stuff some cardboard underneath the centre there, so that when it goes through the thicknesser, the roller won't press that down. And I find that cardboard is probably the easiest. You can get it just about right. There we go. Okay, I might actually try getting one more sheet through there. Okay, so run it through the thicknesser to get the top flat, and then I can turn it over and run it through the other way to tidy up the other side. Now I'll be honest with you, I started this video yesterday and I was having a bit of an off day yesterday. I think I'll call it a bad t-shirt day. Well, today I've got my nice t-shirt on. And I did receive a mysterious parcel in the post yesterday. And well, Carolyn will attest to the panic that struck me, because I hadn't ordered anything and I wondered what on earth it was. Who was sending me a white box? Anyway, it turned out to be my Lego YouTube play button, which I made last night. Thanks to the guys at YouTube who sent me this. I mean, you know you've made it when you've got a red play button. So, I'll need somewhere to put this. For the time being, I'll just stick it on the shelf, I think. There you go. Wow. It can only go up from here or down. Anyway, yeah, I was getting a bit confused over this neck yesterday. I think overnight I've thought of the idea, so let me show you. Now it's becoming very apparent to me that the theme of this guitar is ash and mahogany. And so I was sort of thinking it'd be really nice to do a laminate neck using some mahogany, which I flattened yesterday, managed to get that nice and flat, with some ash. But this is the only bit of ash that I've got left. It's just a thin veneer, and I thought, well, okay, could I cheat and stick this veneer on another block of wood and use it in there? But of course, when I shape the neck, then the rounded bit at the back there, I'm going to cut through the veneer and reveal the wood that I've stuck it to. What I have found is some of this, and this is maple. I know it's not ash, but it is a light wood, and I think it will look okay. And I think it's going to be long enough, although I'm going to have to do a bit of jiggery pokery, because I want the line to extend all the way through into the headstock, and I'm going to do a scarf joint. So yeah, I've got to think about how I'm going to do that. But I also thought it might be nice to introduce these veneers between the maple and the mahogany, rather like I've done on the back. So I think I've got a plan now. All I need to do is get on with that. Before I do that, yesterday I did manage to glue in all the linings in this guitar. So what I can do is stick the back on this guitar, and I think I'm going to do that because yeah, it needs doing, and there's nothing else I can do with the back. I'm going to have to do some filling with some wood and some dust and glue, but I think it's a good time to get this stuck. If you're a regular viewer, you might remember that I had some trouble with some squirrels earlier in the year. Well, this morning we watched about 5 baby squirrels run along the fence. And do you know what? They've managed to get into the roof again. What can you do, eh? Anyway, I saw where he went in, so I know where the hole is. I've just got to block it up. Right, I'm back after blocking up some holes. You know, I've got nothing against squirrels. I mean, you know, they've got every right to be around. There's no problem there. It's just I'd rather they weren't in the roof of the workshop, if I'm honest. But there we go. Anyway, what I've done is I've just gone round the edge here and had a look to see if there's any areas that are a bit too close to the sides. I can just take them off with a bit of sandpaper just to see if I can get a better fit. It's a little bit of a fiddle getting this in place. That looks pretty good. Right, here goes. Let's try and glue it. Right, I want to get plenty of glue on this middle section because I don't want it rattling. So let's get that all smeared on. Of course, I should have got a card instead of using my finger, but never mind. Oops, I've got a lump there. Okay, get it fitted. Magic. Let's wipe all this glue off. These little clamps are really useful and they're really easy to make. So I will put a link to the video series where I made these in the description. Right, well, I've added a few more clamps just to really press it down there, press it in. So it should be all right. I'm going to just leave it to cure now. So I think I'll just put this to one side. Back to the neck. I've got this piece of mahogany which is perfectly long enough. I've got to cut the end piece off. There's a couple of holes in there, so I'll just mark it underneath that so we don't include that. So I'll go to the end there and I'll need to cut it just on this dotted line here, which is the end of the neck. I think I will take it on a little bit further than that, but I will mark where that line is to get an idea of what we're doing here. Now then, the neck enters the body around fret 18. In fact, it's just a little bit, it's between 18 and 17 actually, so it's there. That's where the neck enters the body, so we'll just put a dotted line there. So that's the body there. Right, if I can spell body. Now then, this is the laminate piece. Now, as you can see, it's not long enough. So what I'm going to have to do is add a little piece in there just to pad that out. But obviously it'll be inside the body so you won't see it. I'm going to cut the central piece of the laminate to 12mm wide, or I should say I'm going to plane it down to 12mm. I shall actually probably cut it at 15mm and yeah, just take it down. So I'm going to cut two strips at 15mm off this piece. Before I thickness them, I'm just going to make sure I've got at least one flat side. Off camera, I've done a bit of prep work. I've right, let's talk about this. First of all, I cut this in half and I have made sure that the edges are flat there. I noticed there's some holes on this side, so I'm going to put those on the inside. I've also made these two pieces of the maple, which are the same thickness, 12mm, and what I'm going to do basically is glue those up together. I'm going to cut it off about there. There is a join, but hopefully that is within the body, so that shouldn't be seen. I've also thicknessed this piece of mahogany down to 15mm. I actually cut it on the bandsaw and then just run it through the thicknesser. So that's 15mm thick, so that will do for the headstock. I can cut that out in a minute. But I think I'm going to get this all glued up, and I need to cut some veneers to do that. So that's my next job. So I need to cut this 21mm wide. So I'll just mark that there. Mark that there. Get our knife out. Line up the ruler. Here are the veneers that I've cut, so let's make up the sandwich then. So we're going to have the silver grey and then the walnut against the maple. Like so, and then on the other side silver grey and the walnut. Now I'm going to have to move that right down there. I think that's going to look all right. Right, well that is within the bounds of the body there, so you know I'm hoping all this join that the body's going to be there, so all of this is going to be hidden. So, well, there's nothing else I can do. This is what I've got. I'm going to work with what I've got and see what we get, but I think that's going to look really smart. Right, okay, glue up time. I'm not going to bore you with the glue up, otherwise this is going to be a bit like Dave's glue up show instead of a guitar making show. So anyway, I'm get on with that and I'll see you in a bit. I changed my mind. This is such fun. I thought you'd like to see it. So I'm just coming up to the final few layers here. Got the walnut on. Now just putting the silver on. There we go. Glue that one on. Ooh. Final piece. Now I've got to flop all of this lot until it's back. Go down like so. I need to make sure it's all pressed down. Just need to slide that up a bit. It's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. It's a bit of a mess, but I think it's going to be okay. Clamp time. Let's get some clamps on these and then I'll just clean up the glue. 1. 2. Let's counterbalance it. 3. I think it's time for a cup of tea. I'll see you in a bit. Well, that was a long tea break. It was more like a tea break, a dinner, a night's sleep, and a morning to reflect on the mistake I was just about to make. But I came up with another idea, which I think is going to work this time. So let me show you. Our problem with this build is the shortage of wood. And so I'd come up with this idea to go on the front. Well, I'm afraid that now is going out the window. At least some of it is. Because I've come up with an idea. What if I reverse the pattern that I've got on the back? So if I put ash on this section and mahogany on the back. And I think I can do that because I remember I've got this chunk of ash which I've had for years and years. It's the end of a plank and it's got a split in the middle there. But I'm just thinking that I could probably fit this in and avoid that split. Now I can't get this whole depth into the bandsaw, so my idea is to cut it at an angle across there. So if I try and move this parallel to there like so and cut that, then I should be able to get that under the bandsaw and make it thinner. So that will be on the front. It'll be like that with mahogany on the back. And I think that might work. So without further ado, I'm going to get on and do that. Right, it smells a bit like a bonfire in here. My poor old blade, it's been through lots of mahogany and the sharpening helped a bit, but well, I think it's on its last legs. Anyway, I've got a piece here which I'm going to run through the thicknesser, see if I can get it down to 7mm. Well, here you are, got a good use for my new bench dog system. Put that in there, put that there. There and tighten it up. There we go. I've got my shooting board nicely fixed in place without having to worry about clamps. Now then, I've produced two fronts and I need to glue up the mahogany again. I've chopped out the middle piece from the mahogany and I've also, as a test, marked up the middle because I could glue this together and it would be big enough to make the front piece. So I've got three options for the front piece now. So I'm just going to get on and get the joints for these two pieces sorted out so I can get that glued up, ready to cut. Here we go. Just take a little bit more off, I think. Okay, now you see it. Now you don't. That's a nice join there. So I'll put those two pieces to one side. I'm going to mark which bits go together. Okay, so you might be wondering what I'm doing with all these little pieces. Well, here we go. We should be able to assemble the pound sign by putting all these together. There we go. And if I can get some nice joins on there, which I think I can, then that's another option for me. Well, I've done it again. I thought I'd filmed it and I hadn't. So basically what I did, I put some wax on the base here, then I glued each of the pieces and I've stuck them together with tape, and I've held it down with this block and these clamps, so it's pretty secure. So I'm going to leave that. I should put it to one side. Right, I'm using my guitar body clamp for this glue up, so I've got a bit of tape down the middle with some wax on it. That will just clip into there. This will be glued. Get some glue on the edge. Put those two together. Slide it down just a bit. Weight on the top, loud screw tin. Now it's just a question of tightening these up. Yeah, just starting to get a little bit of squeeze out there, which is good. And there, smashing. While I'm in the mood of gluing up, I've got the headstock here ready with all its veneers and the piece of maple in the middle. So I shall just glue that up. I've put some wax on that piece of board there. So, well, yeah, let's get going. Right, with that little lot all gluing, I'm going to call it a day for this video. I think it's coming on. I started off this video and I was really unsure of where to go, but I think I've got the general direction now. It might veer off, but hey, we don't know. We'll see. You'll have to wait and see till the next episode. I'm trying to put videos out every week. I can't promise it, but I'm trying because I'm keen to see how this guitar is going to turn out. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all your fantastic comments. Really enjoy reading them. Well, I will see you soon. In the meantime, stay safe. Cheers.